We are a group of young people taking part in All Point North project from North of England Refugee Services, working in partnership with Headliners. We wanted to make a DVD about racism because in some way we all are affected by it. We as a group decided to explore this burning issue more with the help of other people's ideas and experiences, people especially from Sunderland.
We are here in Sunderland, see what the local people think.
What's racism? What do you think racism is?
Racism is just someone who offends someone for what they believe, so like colour of the skin.
It's when you see a person and you judge them on what they look like or the race first before you judge them on being a person.
I think it's something where a lot of people do not understand cultures, the way other people live.
It depends on the person to what racism is. I mean, to one person it can mean one thing, to another person it can mean another thing.
I could call white people like all these other names. That's racism as well. It comes from both ways. But to be honest, around here it's mostly from white people. Like comes to us.
We are at the University of Sunderland and we are going to take interview of a senior lecturer of the university, Rick Bowler.
Thank you, Shafia. My name is Rick Bowler. I'm a senior lecturer at the University of Sunderland in Community and Youth Studies. Racism is a global problem, and I think that the legacy, the history of racism is that it infected the world. British Empire, colonialism was part of a global project. So therefore I think racism is a global problem. I experience racism, I think, now at various different levels, so I've become much more aware of the subtle forms of racism, which isn't going to smash me in the face or be abusive to my face, but can neglect some of the things that I think are important or deny a discussion around issues of power and inequality.
If you want to hurt somebody, you use racism, isn't it? You know, if you're racist, if somebody's fat and you want to hurt them, you call them fat. And if somebody's skinny, you call them skinny. So if you see somebody and you want to hurt them and you think what you're going to say is going to hurt them, and you say something racist if you're racist.
Does racism depend on age, any specific age group?
No.
Or?
No, racism can be any age,
any
from what
age.
I've seen.
I think older people probably can be considered as being a bit more racist than younger people, I would have thought. I mean, my parents were probably a bit more racist than me, you know what I mean?
So I think all ages are open to be miseducated and foolish.
I think a lot of young people are more educated in other cultures because a lot of schools are multicultural.
I think one of the lovely things about getting older myself is realising that you can be in your very late part of life and still be a fool. And I think the same for racists at a young age. And I think part of it's about education. So I think older people maybe have it in a particular way, and younger people have it in a different way. So I think age doesn't make wisdom.
I suppose in a way young people don't see it because they experience it. They see, black, Asian and different types of cultures playing on a football pitch, and they respect that. And then they see, positive role models who come from different ethnic backgrounds and musicians and artists. Perhaps older generation don't see that.
My dad fought in the Second World War and he didn't used to let the Japanese. That's because he used to fight against them, and I suppose he's got personal kind of things against one type of race than another.
When I was at school, it was far less. You might have had one person who was like from a different culture in the classroom, but I think now I think people have been more aware and more educated.
It is particularly painful to watch your children go through what you thought had been stopped, and to see it still happening, or to see it happening, and I look at you, to see it happening to young people who come with a beautiful heart and a good desire to want to do things.
how do you think we can tackle racism?
I think part of it's got to be education, re-educating people. That everybody's the same, nobody's different.
I think this country, a lot of people's accept different cultures, different religions and that, and I don't think it's so much segregated as it is in America.
If I live in Sunderland, I'm not going to get any racism off somebody who lives in Sunderland, because I'm the same race, you know what I mean? But if I went abroad, I'd be more likely to get racism if I'm abroad than if I'm at home. It's the same for every race, obviously, because you're not in your own country. Yeah.
I think people need to report it more. Definitely, if you see a bit of racism going about, you need to report it, definitely, yeah.
Yes, I did report it a couple of times. It's difficult because I would say professionally that people should report it. I am absolutely a great supporter of a reporting mechanism because we need to know the size and scale of the problem. The difficulty is that if we were to report it every time it happened, we may never be away from the police station. We have lives to live. So I think what happens in my experience is that most people, unless it's a very, very violent attack, and even then sometimes people don't report that, what happens is that people come to live with a degree of violence.
I think police are racist myself, to be honest. I've thinking it myself. Police are racist, most of them are, and they could do more in school and more outside of school, like around these areas and that. Like there should be like loads of more police walking around and seeing, helping, talking to Asian people and that.
We went to find out about the views from the police. So today we invite PC Andy Boston from Durham.
My name's PC Andy Buston, and my job is the Strategic Youth Issues Officer for Durham Constabulary. I think that's such a broad and sweeping statement to say that all police officers are racist, because we're not. It's the bad experience that that young person has had with maybe one or two officers. If I spoke to that young person, I would say, if you feel a situation has been dealt with wrongly and you felt that person was racist, then there are systems in place for you to report that person and to have that person challenged. If you're not happy with a police officer deals with you, we have collar numbers, unique reference numbers, and that's unique to me. So if you see a police officer, you're not happy with the information you've given him, then you go back to the police station and say, yesterday I was spoken to by PC 1872 and the information he gave me was incorrect and I'd like to challenge it, and then something will be done.
So can you make it easy or shorter for the people so that to encourage more people to report?
You've got to be realistic. You've got to get a certain amount of information from people to report the offence or report the crime. If you devalue that, then you're going to devalue the impact of their issue. If someone's got a serious issue, they've got to be able to sort of say, that's serious enough for me to give an hour of my time up. If people don't come forward and make a complaint and air their concerns, then it goes unreported.
But I don't report it that often because I have better things to do with my time.
It's easy to say, I don't go to Marks and Spencer's shopping because it's too far away. But if I want to go to Marks and Spencer's, I'll give myself time to go to Marks and Spencer's. It's all about what you think. If you think it warrants a report, I can't see time being a factor at all.
Yeah, but you know, people, they want to like make life easy for themselves. So we have to encourage people. So we try to make it easy. So can we do anything for that?
There is the third-party reporting centres, and there's leaflets and information out there within Durham Constabulary where people can report offences and report crimes and report issues. There's the Crime Stoppers. There's the local non-emergency telephone numbers.
We should make the reporting systems of hate crimes and racist crimes absolutely easy. I think we should report it, not because actually I want to throw numbers at people, but I think what we should do is we should be opening that up for a discussion with everybody, with the citizens, with most ordinary people, because I think a lot of ordinary white people, if I use that in those terms, are also appalled by racism, and they don't want to be racist and they don't want to be a part of that. And I think we should build on the good people in all communities. We need to learn to use our friends well. So we need to find support and solace and then take that person with you to report it. But we also need to be, for those of us on the other side, in the sense the side developing professional services, we need to be sensitive to going out and reaching out to people.
If you're passionate and you're offended by something, then give time to report it. You know, you go to doctors because you've got an earache and you give that time. If you don't report it, then nothing gets done about it, and it will happen to somebody else, and it will happen to somebody else. You've got to stop the chain happening. You've got to sort of say, right, I'm not happy with this, and I will report it.
I think we should be getting out there and advertising it more, that it's okay to report this, and maybe you as a youth group are a good reporting place. Maybe we should widen the places we can report it.
You've just got to respect other people's views, other people's race, other people's religions.
People need to understand the way they live and to respect. It's all about respect, you know.
Most people feel that we, from other countries, from other races, they feel that we are different, but honestly we are not.
Be tolerant of others rather than say someone's different, pick on them for it.
Well, respect and education may be one of our answers. Thank you very much. We are All Point North, working with Headliners!